Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be hooking up my oscillator from my first modular build to the Mother-32. If you've been watching some of my past videos, I've been going over what my plans are for this first modular build, and I frequently bring up the fact that when I'm using the Moog Sound Studio, I've wanted another oscillator for the Mother-32 just to kind of vary up the sounds and get something different out of it. In building the modular unit, the first thing I did was I went out and got an extra oscillator. So today I'm going to hook those up. I discovered a few ways I could go about doing this. Depending on how you were sequencing it, it's a little bit different if you're using the internal sequencer versus if you're using an external sequencer. I've been using the Korg SQ64, which can sequence through MIDI, but can also send a pitch and a gate out. All three of those setups, there's kind of different ways you can interact with the second oscillator. Right now I have just going through MIDI. We're going to run it that way. You can get the idea of kind of why you would even need an extra oscillator. And I'll briefly touch on some of the things I figured out for if you go in different directions. But first of all, let's just play. I have a sequence in here. I'm going to play just the Mother-32 so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. So this is just, I mean, it's a pulse wave. There's a little bit of modulation going on. It's a pulse width modulation. But there's not a whole lot to it. A while ago, I made a video on blending the different waveforms, and we routed one of the wave shapes into the external audio. And that's essentially what we're going to do here too. We're going to come out of the Plaits and go into our external audio. And how I'm going to go out of the Mother and into the external oscillator is to, right here, the KB is keyboard, and we're going to come out of that and into the voltage per octave. And so if I turn up my mix all the way, you should be hearing just the Plaits. That's the Mother. And then that's the Plaits. First thing that we're going to want to do is tune it. And this side, very touchy. I've actually found it surprisingly difficult. There we go. Yeah, and that's how you connect them up. Now, the reason I wanted that was so you could just detune it just a little bit. I mean, that gives it a really fat, rich sound. So that's just the Mother. That's with both of them, with the Plaits slightly detuned, and then just the Plaits. Another idea is that you can tune it up so that you're making like power chords or something. So it adds some richness and texture to it, and you don't need a Plaits. You could do this with I mean, even the most basic oscillator, having just that little extra bit to add some some color to the Mother-32 is just awesome. But then we can also use a lot of the internal LFOs and modulation to control the Plaits. So let's add some of that. So I'm going to go from let's go from the LFO triangle out into the timbre. Actually, you know what? Let's send that LFO triangle into, I mean, you can just get creative with this stuff, into the mult. So that way we have now 2 LFO triangles we can send out. And so we're going back into the timbre. And then we'll also do it into the morph. Sounds great. All right, I'm going to turn on some reverb and just a touch of delay because that makes everything sound better. Just sounds so good, and it adds, I mean, the Mother on its own sounds great. I mean, this is just the pulse wave of the Mother, but when you add that little bit of texture, and I mean, once I get more LFOs, that's partly why I ordered that quad LFO, so I could modulate different things. But for now, let's also modulate this mix knob. So I'm going to pull it out of the morph, so because I only have those 2, and let's see what that sounds like. So now the LFO is basically controlling this to switch kind of wave between the Mother and the Plaits. It just sounds so good. And if you I messed with the frequency knob. You can hear that. All right, I got another tuning going. So let's plug some stuff back in, see what this sounds like. Where did I have this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was really trying to go for. Is just there's just so much you can do. Having an extra oscillator it opens up a whole world of possibilities. If you liked this video and you're interested in watching me continue to build my first module build, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments section any other ideas that you had, or if there's any questions you had about what I did here. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. I've been getting some great feedback from some people who are more experienced than me, some people who are less experienced than me, some people who are right in line with me. So keep those comments coming. I really appreciate just knowing that there are people out there and watching this and interested in it, which it motivates me to keep making more videos. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.